Episode 93 of the Joomla Beat podcast, and this week we speak with Søren, Beck, Jensen, the creator of Component Creator.
Latest Joomla news, design tips, marketing ideas, and interviews with experts in the industry.
Beginner or professional, this podcast is for Joomla enthusiasts.
Welcome to the Joomla Beat podcast with your host, Peter Buey.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Joomla Beat podcast, the podcast all about designing, developing, managing, and marketing your Joomla website. I'm your host, Peter Buey, and joining me is the magnificent and wonderful Martina Kotzian. How are you, Martina?
Oh, wow, what an intro.
Yes, there we go. I managed to actually change it up for once.
That's much better than lovely.
Thank you. Yes, you're much more than lovely, like I said.
Actually, I do like magnificent, though.
Yeah, well, there you go. I actually got some tips from listeners.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that? Got some comments, and it might have been an email message. I can't remember now. Either way.
Maybe they should help with your birthday cards and anniversary cards.
Exactly, maybe they should. Anyway, we have a pretty interesting interview coming right up, and we're just going to get straight into it with Søren, the creator of Component Creator, as well as a whole bunch of other tools. So this is going to be pretty cool. So let's get straight into this one.
Stay tuned as Peter brings his special guest to the table. The Joomla Beat Podcast.
Hey, Søren. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast for this episode. Now, I know that you do a lot of things in the Joomla community, and you've played around with a lot of toys, or created a lot of toys, I should say, for the Joomla community as well. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's good having you. But before we get into some of these tools that you've created for the community, could you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you're actually doing now in the Joomla community, and what you're using Joomla for in general?
Sure, yeah. I am originally from Denmark, but I have been living in Spain for the past 10 years, where I run and have my business. Started it as a one-man business and have grown it to have 7 employees now. We are pretty much exclusively focused on Joomla and developing solutions in and around Joomla. Myself, I'm part of the Joomla Resources Directory team and the marketing team, and I'm going to be involved hopefully in helping building a nice interface for Joomla 4. As well, I've been a mentor for the Joomla for Google Summer of Code, and I speak at various Joomla events.
Okay, so pretty involved and pretty busy. Yeah,
very involved and very busy. Well, I'm getting more and more involved. Really, it's hard not to. I find the Joomla community for me is unique. I haven't experienced anything like it, where it really feels like you are contributing to something bigger than yourself, and everybody's so enthusiastic about it. It's tough not to get caught up. If I have to be honest, I kind of started attending Joomla events to try and go and peddle my own wares, selling my own services and stuff like that. But I have just fallen in love with the community, and I'm volunteering more and more of my time.
That's really interesting. I just want to sidetrack a little bit here. How do you find the time to volunteer in the community and do everything that you do, working on the marketing team, working on the resource directory, and also run a company at the same time with 7 employees? How do you find the time for this?
Well, I think I've been lucky enough to have a pretty successful business. So I actually take time out at work to do the Joomla volunteering. So, financially it obviously hurts me a little bit to do it, but I also find that it's rewarding both personally, but also for the business. It's important that we as a business, and I also try to encourage my employees to help out with the community. We make a living out of Joomla, and I think it's only fair that we give back. So I just make it a priority.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if your primary business is around Joomla, it's always good to have a a couple of hours at least dedicated back to the project that's actually making you money as well. So it's a good approach to it. Now, before we get into some more of these toys, which I keep mentioning, I'd like to find out a little bit more about how you actually built up your business. Like, you're from Denmark, but how did you end up in Spain, and how did you build up your team to, like, you know, a good professional group of people around you?
Yeah, well, it's been quite a journey. I started in Denmark. I was actually the first employee in Denmark's first internet company. So
wow.
I've been building websites since 1994, and well, I was involved in building the first website for Lego, amongst other big Danish companies.
That's pretty cool.
And so I had a career within that, spanning some years, but I kind of got fed up of it all, and I decided to travel the world, and I sold everything I owned and put it in a backpack and traveled around the world for a bit, and ended up back in Europe after a year or so, moving in with my now ex-wife, but we moved into England together. She was from America, and then we moved to Spain here together. We've since then split up, but when I came here, it was only natural for me to try and set up some internet business again, this time on my own. So before I was always an employee, and so I just started on my own, started building websites for small little clients in the area, mainly English-speaking clients, because the English level here is not very good, and so the kind of foreigners living in Spain liked to speak with somebody who could speak English to get their websites built. So I did that, and it was pretty successful. I built all the websites around Joomla, and I slowly grew the business, and we launched a website that is not really dealing around Joomla. It's built in Joomla. It's called Automatic Backlinks, and financially it's been helping us grow the business to do other Joomla things. And my problem has been have been to find qualified employees who also speak English, because we also have a part of the company called Not Web Design, which is our client-facing website service where we build websites for clients, and within there all our clients speak English, but also that we'll get to both Component Creator and Neno Translate. It's international, so people from all over the world are using those services, and so we need to be able to communicate with them in English.
So this is an interesting approach to growing your company. You actually went for a product development, sounds like early on, with your product called Automatic Backlinks there. So, well,
actually, the way it started is we were building websites for clients, and then naturally they wanted to start ranking well in search engines, and so I think it was only me at the time. I built an extension for Joomla called Links, Linx. That's an old extension, has long been removed. I think just for Joomla 1.0 actually. But it was pretty popular, and it was basically a way to exchange links with other websites. And I saw it was pretty popular, but also there was very time consuming to manage these link exchanges. And so when there was a gap, there was no clients, I built this automatic backlinks, which automatically exchanged links with all our members' websites. It grew very fast, and riding on the backbone of all the users from links, it became a pretty big success, and to this day still is a big success, and is really funding all the Joomla stuff we're doing.
I do remember that kind of SEO technique. So would someone come to a website with the component, submit their website, and it will give them a referral link, or not a referral link, but a link back code that they have to add to their site, and then it will check if it's linking? That
was what links did. Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
And it was very popular. There was lots and lots of users were using it.
Yeah, because the more links you had between different websites, the more popular Google saw you.
Yeah, and it still is a fact. Now it has changed. Now automatic backlinks, it works for any PHP-based solutions, but we have modules for Joomla and Drupal and WordPress. So in Joomla you'd install a module, and that module will display links from other members' website or to other members' websites. And in exchange for that, you earn points in the system, and your link is then displayed on other people's websites. So it's a huge network of automatic link exchanging going on. So everybody involved ranks higher in the search result.
Interesting technique, and I'm glad that helped build up your company. And obviously, that's where you leverage some. I guess
given us some financial freedom, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of these different components and different things that you built, I really want to get into Component Creator. This mysterious thing that some people use to build components for Joomla. Can you tell the listeners about this?
Well, it kind of started the same way. We were building a lot of Joomla websites, and every time we would have to do the same thing, especially when the 1.5 framework came out. There was a lot of doing the same thing again and again every time you had to build a new component. And I got tired of doing that. So I just wrote some software in PHP that could do that for me, that could create all the files that was needed in the component. And then I used it for maybe 6 months, just us in the office were using it. But then I realized there was actually something that could be beneficial to other people. So I uploaded it to a website and let other people use it and created a web interface. And for about a year or so, it was running like that. And then it got really popular, and a lot of people were using it. So I thought, hey, why not really invest some time in this and make it really awesome, and then add a paid part onto it. And that's what we did. And it's been running like that for the past 2 years, and it has about almost 50,000 Joomla developers using it to create components. And it works basically like you go in and you kind of define your database that you want. So you kind of defined your tables and your fields and your interfaces. So if a field in a database should be a text field or a text area field or a number field or language selector or whatever it might be. And then it builds all the code for you when you click build, and you get a ready-to-download zip file that you can install as a working component into your Joomla website, and it takes about 90% out of the development work if you're a component developer.
Wow, you make it sound so easy.
It really is. It really is. Just go read some of our testimonials or ask any of our users. It's very, very popular, and for us, we love working on it because all of our users are super enthusiastic and super happy because it saves them so much time. So we all really love working on it because we get so much adulation, so much happy feedback.
Well, with 50,000 users, and I'm assuming that's climbing, it's a pretty popular service to actually use to start building something. Yeah,
it is very popular, and we're very, very happy about it.
You Danish guys are pretty smart. Anyway,
you're referring to the big Danish Viking or what?
Just the Danes in general.
Right. Okay.
Now, can you give us some scenarios where this has been used? Who would use Component Creator, and what would they be using it for?
Yeah, we tend to find that there's kind of three kinds of users. The first one might not be so obvious, but we have had lots of feedback from people who have really helped them, and those are people trying to learn Joomla development. It's really good for people who kind of is stuck. They're trying to learn it, doing it themselves, and they get stuck because there's a little, we all know it as developers, a little comma wrong somewhere, and it just doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So if you go in and recreate that with Component Creator, you can look in the code and see how it should be coded, because we develop code the way Joomla says you should code, so it's 100% accurate. So there's the student, I would call them, they would typically just use the free version, and the vast majority of our users are just using the free version. Then there is, I would call it the hobbyist. So that's somebody building one website, because maybe they have a sports club or something like that, and they need a league table, or they need something to arrange matches or something like that. And they will go in and they would use Component Creator to build a component and install it, and they're up and running, and that's the website that they built, and they don't really have any development knowledge, and they don't really need it either. And the last type of user is more like the agency. That's people like ourselves developing lots of Joomla websites for customers, where every customer has a unique thing. It could be a real estate agent or somebody, I don't know, renting cars or lots of different types of websites that people build, and they have a unique requirement, that website, and you can very quickly go in and create a component using Component Creator and use that as a basis for further development. Those are the three types of users that I think we see.
Have you seen anything really interesting come out from the users that have built components? I'm assuming you can see what these customers have done with the system and what they've produced. Is that right? Can you see that kind of information?
No, we can't. Not really without without our customers' permission. We can't go in and look at their. I mean, we could, but we don't do it. Without their approval. And really, we don't know, because what they build is a component, right? So we don't know where that is installed or used in the end. So we don't really have a lot of... I know that several very active developers on the JED, I'm not going to out anybody here, but I know that several developers who have several components on the Joomla extension directory are using Component Creator as the basis for every component they build.
Wow.
But really, no, we don't. We don't know, but I'm sure lots of big websites have been built on it.
It'd be really cool if some people came back and actually showed you what they actually use Component Creator for. Yeah,
we have an upcoming kind of anniversary. Not an anniversary, but we're very close to having built 100,000 components using Component Creator.
Oh, that's huge.
And at the same time, we don't really know what will come first. We will have 50,000 users, but one of them, and we're kind of thinking about a campaign or having a big party and then looking back and asking people to tell us what they have built, so we can kind of have like not a year in review, but a life in review at this time.
That's pretty cool. Make sure you let me know when you start ramping that up. I'll get the message out on the podcast as well, and I'm sure some of the listeners that have used it, or some of the listeners that are listening now and are going to use it, I hope they do, come back and show you what they've done. That'd be cool.
Yeah, great. Cool. I will. Thanks.
Awesome. Now, besides Component Creator, you also mentioned that you have another one called, what was it called? Neno Translate? Is that right?
Well, see, we can, I think we pretty much settled that it's Neno Translate.
Neno.
In English, yeah, because it's actually a Swahili word, just like Joomla kind of is based on.
I see.
And it means word in Swahili. Well, maybe for the listener who doesn't know, the word Joomla is taken from the Swahili word Joomla. It's spelled slightly kind of different, and it means all together or as a whole. And that's how Joomla got its name. So we kind of drew inspiration for that, for Neno. But yeah, it's something we've only launched recently. In fact, we're planning on launching the first stable version 1.00 this week. But we have been running a public beta now for a couple of months, and it's a translation solution for Joomla. So basically, it's what we hope, and well, we're pretty sure it is. The most comprehensive translation solution for Joomla. So it's a component that you install if you'd like to translate your website into multiple languages. And it allows translation of both database content and language files. So if you have any third-party components that you install that are not translated into your language, you can translate those as well. And it allows for you to, with a single click, order external translation. So you can order professional translation with a single click, or you can order machine translate your whole website with a single click. For instance, and you can set it up so that part of your website, for instance, you could set it up so your forum is translated machine. So as soon as somebody posts something in your English forum, it's automatically translated via machine to German and published automatically on your website. But you can also set it up so whenever you post a blog post, it's automatically sent to translation to professional translators who will then translate it to German, and it automatically then comes back a couple of hours later and is published in German on your website as well.
Right. That's taking translation to a whole new level.
We kind of felt that was missing from Joomla, yeah, and we kind of agreed we wanted to do a Joomla project that should, that should be financially viable, but should also help Joomla kind of profile itself, because we have a deep interest in Joomla being successful, and so we wanted to do something that could help Joomla kind of stand out. And already Joomla is standing out because the built-in multilingual features of Joomla are pretty good. The translation ones are not, but the multilingual ones are. And so we kind of wanted to help profile that.
Very interesting. I went ahead and tried turning one of my extension websites into a multilingual site supporting Spanish and traditional Chinese. It's a bit of a process to do, setting up the different versions of each piece of content. So is there some sort of workflow with this to help in that process to translate content?
Yeah, well, we've spent a lot of time on exactly that. First of all, what we do when you install Neno is that we set it all up for you. So if you've misconfigured it or forgotten to make a menu item, making an alias with a menu item, or have set an article to be all languages or something like that, we fix all that for you. So we set it up correctly, and we ask you which languages you want to work with, and right there from the interface you can download and install the languages from the Joomla site, and we get all of that up and running for you. But then we also, the way we work is kind of how Joomfish worked in the old days, is we create all the translated content in a separate database. And so you just have to focus on building your website the way you normally would. And then we gather everything that needs to be translated in a simple interface. So it's simply just a list of strings that come up that you have to then translate. And you can search and say, right now I only want to translate stuff from Kunena Forum or something like that, right? And so it'll only show you strings from that. But generally speaking, it'll very quickly give you an overview of what needs to be translated, maybe what has changed, the source language has changed and needs to be retranslated. And so you just have all your strings that you need to translate, and a very, very user-friendly interface with keyboard shortcuts that makes it easy on the translator. I think the other solutions that have existed in Joomla have been very focused on the administrator. So you're an administrator, so you know what a module is, and you can go find the module and kind of get that translated. We are very translator-friendly in when it comes to translation. And so we make the process very easy for a translator to sit and do, but also for you to order these external translation, either translate your whole website in one click to another language, or send parts or all of your content to be professionally translated as well.
Okay, just to make this clear, you said we set up the Neno translate for you. Does that mean you, as in your company, goes into
the component. When you install the component, it does it for you.
Very cool.
So it's not us. Yeah. So it checks that everything is set up correctly if you already have some multilingual content. And it'll actually, because the way Joomla handles multilingual content is that, well, first of all, it can only do the core, right? So it stores it in the core content database. With a language tag, so Spanish will be stored in there with the tag Spanish. What we do when you install Neno is, if you already have multilingual content like that, we will pull it out and put it into our table instead, and delete it from the content table, so that all language varied content is in separate database tables. This makes actually unique for our solution is that it's for performance. We're performing just as good as the original solution, and it also means that third-party developers do not have to do anything when they develop a component regarding multilingual. All they have to do is develop their component with one language in mind, and Neno Translate can automatically turn any third-party component into multilingual.
Very useful, very powerful. And very useful the way that you thought about it as well. I guess myself coming from an English-speaking country, I wouldn't really think about this. And I think when Brian Tiemann came over to Joomla Day Australia to do a multilingual workshop, I don't think anyone signed up for it here in Australia because we just don't think about that. But being over in Europe, you would.
We do, we do a lot. And that's another thing. I mean, because we have historically been building lots of multilingual websites, so we have experience in that area.
Very cool indeed. I'm very eager actually to get my hands on this and use it on our extension website, because we have been concentrating on marketing and doing SEO in different languages. Who would have thought? That's the next big thing.
I think it's only about 30% of online users who can speak English.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a huge market you're potentially missing out.
Exactly.
And so, but let me know if you need any help. I'll be happy to help you get set up. We as I said, we're just launching this first stable version this week. And I guess we can say in this podcast that if you're within a week and you reach out to us, we'll be happy to help you all the way to get you up and running. The first 10 people who really want to use this and are ready to commit some time to getting it up and running, we will help all the way free of charge.
That's very generous of you. It's I'm pretty sure a couple of the listeners, or at least a big portion of the listeners, will take you up on that offer. So be careful.
I did say the first 10.
Yeah, you did. You put a limit there. So I'll put that up in the show notes as well, so people don't miss it in case they're scanning across the notes. But I am definitely going to try this out on our extension website and see how it works. And see how this automatic translations work as well. So you said machine translate and also sending it off to someone to actually professionally translate. How does that part of the system work? Have you signed up a whole bunch of translators around the world or something?
No, we actually work with translation agencies who already have a whole bunch of translators. So one of the ones we work with is called STL. They're the third biggest translation company in the world, and they have just full-time staff. They have more than 1,000 translators, but they work with like 20,000 freelance translators as well. And they have to be native speakers and stuff like that. So the quality is good.
Interesting. And what's the pricing for this kind of stuff?
Yeah. So if you're using the interface to translate with Neno, then you can use your own API key and you can translate one article at a time or a title at a time by clicking copy and translate. And so that will use your API key, and that's free then, at least if you use the Yandex API key, which is free. But if you want to translate your whole website, then you have to use our API, and then you have to buy translation credit in the system. And one translation credit is 1 cent to buy, and basically 1 euro cent. And so basically, what you can do is you can use, or for half a cent. For two words cost 1 cent for machine translation, and professional translation costs 10 cents per word. That should give you an idea. So a typical website with some content pages and a couple of blog posts and stuff like that might cost you, machine translate, 5 euros to translate. And translate maybe 200 euros to translate, or 150 euros, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, good price guide. In regards to the machine translating, I know when you use Google Translate, for example, the grammar behind the language isn't always the best. How does this compare to that, or is it very, very similar?
It's pretty much the same. You can choose to use the Google API key or a Yandex API key, and it's pretty much the same. We don't recommend it for production use, but the way we've set it up is so that you can apply more than one translation method. And so it means that you could have, for instance, you could set it up so that instantly, when you submit a new blog post in English, it is instantly translated to German, Spanish, and Chinese using machine translate. And then it is also sent off to professional translators. And when they're done translating it, it will overwrite the machine translated version. That way, you're not showing English content to your Chinese users, for instance. You'll show broken up machine translated Chinese instead. But also for SEO purposes, it can create rapidly some content that can be indexed by search engines, and it can help. It might, it's not correct, 100% correct, because it's machine translated, but it could help attract visitors from that language to your website.
Well, I think that's a good method because, you may not know that people speaking that language are a potential new customer base. But being able to quickly machine translate a whole section of your website and market it for that particular language is a good step forward. And if you're noticing that traffic is coming in that way, but you're getting complaints because they can't understand your website, then investing some extra time and effort into translating it properly could really pay off.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Very cool. All right. I will be using this. All of my Chinese translations haven't been complete yet, so I might give it a go.
All right. Cool.
Excellent. So these awesome tools and toys that you've created for the community, how can people get to them?
Well, Component Creator is component-creator.com.
Yep.
And Neno Translate is neno-translate.com.
That's pretty straightforward.
You can also go to our main website, which is jensen.technology. And on there you can link to all our projects, also automatic backlinks and Not Web Design, which is our client-facing website.
You definitely keep yourself busy, that's for sure.
Yeah, we are pretty busy, but that's the way we like it.
Yep. Now, would you happen to have any special deals for the podcast listeners?
We do, yeah. We have set up a 25% discount for the next 2 months for both Neno Translate and for Component Creator. All you have to do is to go, if you want to sign up for both of them are free services, but with a premium option. And if you want to take the premium option, then you enter Joomla Beat as the what's the
code.
thing like that called? Discount code, yeah, coupon code, and you get 25% off for the next 2 months.
25%, that's pretty generous. Thank you so much for that, Søren. Yeah. And if anyone is using the free versions of Component Creator or Neno Translate, make sure you give Søren a big shout out to and say thank you, so that he knows that you're using it and that you came from the Joomla Beat podcast as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
So awesome, Søren. It's amazing to actually get you on the podcast. I've met you a couple of times now. When did I see you last?
Well, I'm the guy who always signs up for your yoga sessions and then never
That's
shows up.
right. It was on the beach in Cancun.
Yeah, and not this year, but last year at J & Beyond as well.
Yes, that's right. Well,
Germany.
It's finally good to actually have you on the podcast. You're a big contributor to the community, so it's always good to highlight those people that give so much back and have gotten so much from Joomla itself.
There are people devoting much more time than me. So I say I'm a huge contributor, but I do try to help out. But I am really totally in awe at some of the people and how much time they spend in volunteering their time to Joomla.
I'm slowly making my way through everyone. Thanks so much for joining me, Søren. It's been a pleasure having you.
It has. Have a great day, and I hope I'll see you in India.
I hope so too. I don't know if I'm quite going yet, but fingers crossed.
Joomla experts, high-end users, creators, and, well, really, anyone you should be listening to.
This is Joomla Beat Podcast with your host, Peter Buey.
So thank you again so much, Søren, for joining me on the podcast there and doing that interview. What did you think, Martina?
Well, I actually thought Søren's story was really cool.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty interesting how he started off in Denmark and travelled a little bit and started his career so early. Found Joomla, then ended up in Spain.
In Spain. How nice is that?
I know. You love Spain, don't you?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous place.
Anyway.
I would live there.
Yep. Maybe you should.
We should do that.
Why not?
We should travel around doing this podcast and end up in Spain.
Yeah, who knows where we're going to end up.
I thought his components were really interesting, and I might actually try out that interpreter one.
The translation.
Yeah, the translation for one of my websites.
Yep, definitely.
Sounds awesome.
Everyone should try it out and make sure you take use of that coupon code as well, Joomla Beat, for that percentage off your next sign up.
So I think that's it for this podcast, Peter.
That's it.
That's it. It's all over.
Short and sweet.
So guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a rating for us on iTunes or on Spreaker.
That's right. Just search for Joomla Beat in the iTunes store or on Spreaker. And you should be able to find us and leave a 5-star rating and review.
Easy.
Helps other people find the podcast, helps with the discoverability of it, and, just promotes it a little bit. So anything really helps.
And thanks for all those people that leave comments as well. It makes us realize that people are listening and they're engaging.
Yeah.
And we love to hear from you.
Yes, we have to collate all those comments and do a big shout out. Maybe we should do that for the 100th episode.
That sounds awesome.
Yep, it's
That's coming
just
up.
around the corner. Okay, until next time, everyone, please keep your website safe and secure and make sure you keep them backed up. Bye.
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 You've been listening to the Joomla Beat podcast, bringing together the community of designers, developers, fans, and users from around the globe. Joomla Beat. Joomla Beat.at